Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Thai Talk with Dan. Now, I know I've been quiet for the last few days, but unfortunately, YouTube are at it again. It seems to be the norm now, and they are flagging all my videos, so I have to wait. So, in the meantime, I've put the videos I've made in the members area, and as soon as they get approved by YouTube, I will switch them and put them live. Right, guys, we've got a long story today about one man's journey in Thailand and with Thai women. And now he is actually married to his Thai wife. It's an interesting one, guys, and it's a long one. So stick the kettle on, sit back, relax, and let's jump in to today's Thailand story. Hi Dan, I have been going to Thailand for many years, since 2002. Never got caught by a Thai girl scamming me, but Lord knows they tried. In 2015, I started travelling to Thailand after a 7-year dry spell, mostly due to my kids, and I just didn't make enough money. I was refereeing hockey and coaching skating for hockey, which wasn't that lucrative. In 2013, I started a real job, and after 2 years of travelling a week at a time, a minimum of 30 weeks per year, I told my boss I'm going to Thailand. He agreed, and when I came back, he told me I should go twice a year because the trip changed me for the better. Of course, I agreed. In 2015, my kids also started living with their mum due to my travel schedule, so it wasn't a huge thing. At this point, I was making $100,000 a year, living with my mum. That's a whole other story with a tragic ending that will be in my book. And no girlfriend, because while I dated a lot off the internet, women did not want to get into a relationship with a dude who's out of town from Monday through Friday. I travelled all over North America, installing $100,000 to $300,000 industrial printers. When I started the job, I had a girlfriend, and the travel didn't hurt the relationship. It's actually not a bad thing because I stretched the weekend to 3 days often. And how much time do you really spend during the week together when you are working anyway? That said, starting a relationship in this situation is a non-starter. So, I joined Thai Friendly. I'm not sure how I found it, but I did. In the USA, there was a site that was called Plenty of Fish. This site was a great resource before Tinder, 100% free. The issue is, as a dude in his 50s, it was very hard to meet a woman that I was interested in that was interested in me. Women have these unrealistic profiles saying that they are a beach girl, but they live 500 miles from the beach, or they are into yoga or stand-up paddle. They are athletic or fit, but they can't ride a beach cruiser bicycle a mile on the beach path. You name it. They say things like, must be into the finer things, or 6 foot and above, only when the lady is 4'8". Must be a homeowner. First question they would ask is, what kind of car do you drive?
Yes, it's a trifling friend indeed. Oh, she's a gold digger.
Holy crap, it's horrible. Thai Friendly was the opposite. Yes, there are bar girls and ladyboys and everything in between, but you can navigate through it, and it's 10 times more honest than a dating site in the USA. So I started using Thai Friendly and chatting up women on Line ID. I had 10 women I was talking to before my first trip back. Spent 5 days in China for work, left Hong Kong at 1:30 p.m. and was on a date at 8 p.m. in Bangkok. I basically went on 3 dates when the fourth lady was awesome and we hung out for the remainder of my trip. I went home and we kept video chatting for a couple of weeks, but she wanted money, so I quit talking to her. It wasn't even a lot. She asked for $100. This type of thing would happen over and over on my subsequent trips. They always find a reason for money. I'm a problem solver. I tried different approaches, even sent money here and there, but it never helped. With at least 2 of the women I dated over 3 years of doing this on 2 to 3 trips per year, I'm sure it might have worked out had I lived in Thailand, but that long distance barrier was impossible to cross. Finally, I met a single mum with a 4-year-old. We talked for about 3 months. She had her own business and she was a good mother. Later I found out a little too good. So before the trip, my daughter and her friend were going to go with me. My daughter had already travelled when I took both her and her brother on a 3-week trip the year before. My daughter was 23 and her friend backed out the last minute. So I'm on this trip to Phi Phi Island with my daughter and this lady. Needless to say, in the middle of the 3-day trip, the lady wanted to go home, so that ended that. The whole time she was worried about her kid. Understandable, but she acted like a child herself. So now it's just me and my daughter. My daughter was seeing a dude from Australia, and the dude invited her to come stay for a couple of weeks. So my daughter leaves me alone in Bangkok. So I'm in Bangkok alone for 4 days. First night I just relax, have some great food and crash early. Next night I'm bored and I go to Nana. I'm sitting at a bar and this girl is working me from afar. You know, like normal. I could have been the elephant man and she still would have worked me. I see her try with a couple of dudes, but they aren't having it. Finally I figure, what the hell? I'm gonna bar hop. It would be nice to have someone to hang with. So I give her the head gesture to come over. She does. I buy her a drink. She understands English fair enough, and we leave. Went to Titanium and watched my favourite girl band, Unicorn. Then the little bar around the corner on Sukhumvit, Otto Bar, and watched their little 4-piece rock band play some Iron Maiden. And back to the Conrad we go. Had some fun, and the next morning, surprise, she's not working that night, so she can hang with me for free. She goes on her way, and we meet up around 7 and have dinner off the beaten path, then drinks and live music, and I had a great last night. The next morning, she tells me to stay in touch. She really likes me. So, I get home safely and fly to Canada and work like a slave, and the company I work for goes out of business. This may sound bad, except my boss was the president and he was the sole salesman, and I installed all the printers and had a 300 customer database along with all their phone numbers. My salary instantly doubled, and instead of me doing week install trips, I'm just doing repairs over 1 to 3 days. While this is going on, I'm talking to this bar girl on Line ID. So I am planning my July trip and tell her about it, and she wants to go with me. Of course. She tells me that if I pay her bar fines for the time I'm there, she will hang with me. I agree. I want to be clear. I never sent 1 dime to her in the time between seeing her in April and that July. She's not my girlfriend, and I have no intention of spending my whole trip with her, so I go to Pattaya and spend a few days before heading back to Bangkok and meeting up with her. We meet up and travel to Chiang Mai. I'd been to Thailand close to 30 times, but never went to Chiang Mai because I always ended up staying at a beach somewhere. It was really cool, but after a few days we went to Koh Tao. Had a great time there, but got really sick, and she took care of me. By the way, this girl tattooed my full name on her back shoulder. I had joked that she should get a tattoo of my name on her back. 100% a joke. A week before I flew there, she shows me this tattoo. Crazy. So the day I started feeling sick, she says she wants a huge tattoo on her back. I find a picture of this Asian lady and fish, and she likes it, and the shop says they will do it for $300. I say yes, and they tattoo her over the next 2 days. The second day, she took care of me when I was sick. So we fly back to Bangkok and we are in the Conrad and kinda drunk with her friend, and she gets a call that her little boy is sick. Her stepdad picks her up and she goes to see him. I guess he's okay and she comes back. The next day, I tell her she should be with her son, who's 3 years old, but she says her mother and brother's girlfriend take care of him all the time. I didn't like that at all. This was a really red flag #1 for me. I mean, I had no delusions about her and I being serious before that, but I'm not a fan of bad mothers. That night she tells me her mum brought the kid to the hospital and he has pneumonia. I tell her we gotta go to the hospital. We go and her mother, stepdad and brother are there. The doctor says they are full after treating him and that he may have to stay overnight, so we should take him to the other hospital that's cheaper as well. That visit cost me $35. We go to the other hospital and they check him out, do a lung treatment and give us meds, and that was like $25. Of course, I was money bags for the family who were hungry while we waited. I insisted the little guy come with us that night, since A, we were very close to the hospital, and B, it's her son. I was more nurturing to the little boy than she was that night. That was the deciding factor that this was not gonna go past this trip. The next day, her dad picked us up and we had a barbecue at their house. That was about 45 minutes outside of Bangkok. Of course, I was money bags and paid for everything. I left a couple of days later, and when I said goodbye at the airport, I know I would never talk to her again, and haven't. That was July. In September, I met my wife. I had pretty much given up on finding a partner and was just going to continue doing vacation trips, but I was still on Thai Friendly. I was scrolling through pictures of women in Chiang Mai and saw my wife wearing an Edmonton Oilers hockey jersey. I was stunned. What are the odds that a guy who has refereed over 20,000 hockey games would find a Thai lady wearing a hockey jersey? They are slim. I message her. She's, where am I? Fed up with the lame failures but still hopeful, we exchange a couple of messages and I tell her let's talk on Line ID. She agrees and we hit it off almost immediately. This story could easily be a failure. The same meeting could end up one of your failure stories, but not the case. So I fly to Thailand, have some fun a few nights, then fly to Chiang Mai and meet my wife. Before I leave, I'm in the airport talking to her, and she's getting super pushy. She wants to meet me at the airport, but I tell her that doesn't make sense to me because I'd rather just hurry to the hotel and check in. She doesn't want this to happen because she's afraid I'll blow her off. So we meet in the lobby and hug. Afterward, we go have lunch, and we have been together ever since. This was possible because of both of our failures. She was originally on a dating site, and her ex-husband's wife died after being married since high school. The poor bar steward never had a dating life. Now he's old and single. He finds my wife and flies to meet her with zero Thai experience. They live in Canada, and during that time, he gets her a visa to the USA so they can travel to see his friends in the States. This is key. Next, he buys a house in Chiang Mai so they can live in Thailand during the winter. Sounds awesome. Only the dude starts getting hit on by women for the first time in his life and realizes he's in effing Thailand. So they are getting ready to fly to Canada and he asks her for a divorce. Devastated her. He leaves her the house which he's paid for and pays her bills for a year. Then we meet. So when we met, I really didn't know she was a homeowner or the story. We travelled around and she was super frugal. A couple of weeks in, I wanted her to come to the USA. I knew she could because of her visa, so I asked her and she said yes. I booked her a round-trip ticket for the USA on Christmas Eve. I really didn't think past that, but the return flight was a month later. When I got into the airport, I realised I only had 3 weeks to prepare, and in that time, I had to get an apartment because no way in hell was I going to have her in my mum's house. So I moved to an area where she could be self-sufficient if I went on a work trip. 10-minute walk from the beach, restaurants and grocery stores within steps. Picked her up from the airport and the rest is history. We didn't even think about the return flight. Didn't cross our minds. I fly Southwest Airlines and have a companion pass and she flies everywhere with me for like $12. A few times I've done a 1 day and she stayed home, but rarely. We joke that her first year in the USA, she visited 20 states. The average American only visits 8 in a lifetime. Yes, I got an attorney and we are currently on the second run with a new green card, just waiting for the approval, which is pretty automatic. She plans on becoming a citizen in December. My mother was killed by my sister in 2020, poisoned by her heart meds, a little over a year after my wife came here, although we didn't know for sure until my sister herself passed away because the toxicology report came a couple of months after her death because of COVID. Inherited the house which is paid for and totally rebuilt it, doing most of the work myself. Originally, the house was unlivable. My wife would never have moved into it, it was that bad. But she walked into it about 3 months before we moved in and couldn't believe it. The plan now is to rent the house out when we retire, trying to delay that as much as possible, but rent is $3,500 or more here. And since we own the Chiang Mai house, we can live like kings and queens for the money in rent we make. We can sell the house anytime. It's in an area that typically never goes down in value, no matter what state the economy is in. Now, yes, when something goes wrong with her family, I send money. They don't milk it, they are farmers. My wife's aunt owns 8 properties, 2 of which are worth well over $1 million USD. They have all levels of economic levels in their family, much like Western families have. A big reason for that is nobody lives in a tourist town. My life is a crazy story. Someday I will write a book. Working title is Badminton Players Have Groupies. All the best. Jay. Right, guys, I hope you enjoyed Jay's story. It was a bit of a long story, and I wanted to share this one in case anybody was giving up hope on trying to find a Thai woman here in Thailand to be with due to all the horror stories that are constantly going on. So it's nice to show that Jay went through the dating scene, tried his luck, could see that most of these women were just out for money, etc., and then he finally met someone that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and now he's currently with her. So let us know, guys, what you think about Jay's story down in the comments, and be honest. Right, if you've got your own Thailand story, your own Thailand journey, or you're in a predicament, then send me an email and let me know, and we can share it on the channel and see what everyone has to say about it. Send your emails in to thaitalkwithdan@gmail.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're all having a good week. Take it easy, and ciao for now.